What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Run Pure Sports NBA Hardwood Show. I'm your host, Mangone. I'm back with Titletown. I'm back with Hoop. We'll kick it off with the MMA guy, Titletown. How's it going over there, man? How was the MMA sweats this morning?
Yeah, so MMA started bright and early. It was nice watching 14 fights. Fortunately, they no takedowns, didn't all go how we wanted, but cash games went well on both sides, so it was profitable. Wish I had a little better fights, a little better results on some of them, but hey, anytime it's profitable on a Wednesday, I'll be happy. And then got a big NBA slate, and then we get McGregor on Saturday too. So a lot of MMA still coming up, and I'm excited for this slate and on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm excited for it as well. My first Discord message today was actually to you. I rolled over out of bed. I just said, are the fights good? Like, I didn't want to look. I was just like, I want to go back to sleep for like another 30 minutes. And you said it was clear. And then I just closed the phone. So, yeah, I was happy to get some MMA sweats in. It was a good time. Hoop, how about you? How was the MMA sweats for you? Did you play? And how pumped are you for this NBA slate?
Yeah, I didn't end up playing MMA. I'm definitely gonna play on Saturday though. The Wednesday morning, I was kind of looking forward to it, but I had to help the kids with school stuff. I'm like, there's no way we'd get any school work done if I had action on that 14 fight card. So I took the responsible parenting route and sat out that slate, but I will not be sitting out the Saturday slate. I can promise you that. Got PGA coming up tomorrow. I'm pretty pumped for that. All that content is out and live on the site. And we kind of talked about it. And tomorrow is a 3-game NBA slate. I don't want to steal the thunder here, Mangone. I know you have this in your notes to talk about, but 3-game NBA slate tomorrow. And instead of giving out gear today, which maybe we will give out gear too, but what we're going to do is that first milestone in terms of likes. So if after the first game or two, we'll pick a number. If we get there, we're going to do the Up to Lock show tomorrow, the NBA countdown, for free. We're going to bring it back free. It was successful the other night when it was free. We're going to do it again tomorrow for free if we get the correct number of likes. So that show is very valuable, and we always talk about it this day and age with the all the health protocols and whatnot. These games just dropping off the slate, players being ruled out. You need to be somewhere up to lock, and we think there's no better place than the NBA countdown with JSU and Holden. So if we get the proper number of likes, we'll do it for free tomorrow.
Yep, we got to get up to, we're thinking 200 likes, I think, is the number we're thinking about. So, and hey, if you impress us, we'll give away some gear as well. So just smash that like button. It's in the bottom right-hand corner, or should I say right below me. So if you see my mug on the screen, just click right below, hit that like, and hit that subscribe if you like all the content that we have going on over here at Run Pure Sports. Also want to mention we have the code Workbench21. If this is your first time signing up for Run Pure Sports or checking us out, head on over to our site and use that code when you're signing up. You get 25% off your first payment. So check that out and be sure to check out the final countdown. Titletown, I'm going to head on over to you before we kind of dive in and talk about this slate. Like, what's your thoughts? We had a postponed game. We got obviously some injury news that could be coming. Break it all down for me. What's your initial thoughts on this slate?
Yeah, so it looked like the postponed game, obviously huge news. A lot of players from that game were going to be popular in DFS. So I'm actually glad that we got it canceled, and then it just changes the whole slate. And instead of something very chalky, all the ownership being concentrated on one game, I like it more spread out. So I think that'll do this. The studs on this slate really are priced up appropriately, and nothing really stands out. Like Luka's priced up on both sides, Kevin Durant on both sides. It's just if you're paying for them, you're taking your raw points, and you'll be happy with 5x on this slate. It's not one of those slates where you're expecting 6x from a stud or anything like that. So I think finding the studs will be important. The value isn't as great today either. So I'm not expecting like a 400-point night in tournaments to take it down, or a 350 cash line night. I think it's going to be more so what we used to have a couple of years ago, and you're hoping for 5x from every guy, and that should be enough. So it's definitely an interesting slate, but obviously one piece of news can change everything and make it very chalky again. So news probably isn't done for the night. You never know when it is nowadays, but right now studs look priced appropriately, and it's going to be a lower scoring night, I think.
Yeah, news I'm sure is certainly not done. We have a lot of it coming. I'm sure I have my tweet deck up so I can check it out whenever I see any news pop up. I can let you guys know. Hoop, give me your overall take on it. I know you're working on the cash chart over there, over on FanDuel. I'm working on the DK one. We got our work cut out for us because man, I know value was rough the other day, but this guy's a little better today. Break it down for me.
Yeah, I think Title broke it down perfectly. It's like there's not a ton of value. The studs, they're all priced appropriately. Three of the studs on the slate, Harden, Durant, Kyrie. I mean, those guys, for the most part, obviously on smaller slates are going to be more in play, but on these bigger slates, I don't know if we necessarily play them because of, there's just not enough to go around. So that kind of takes three guys out of play a little bit. I mean, obviously in tournaments, you can still look to those guys, but they're just not as strong of plays with all three of them in there. I don't know. It's an interesting slate, and I was having trouble, on that cash sheet. We always go through and mark 3 or 4 guys that we think are core plays, and I like to get something in there before we hop on the show. And I noticed you kind of might have ran into the same problem as well, where there's not locks at this point. I mean, there's guys I like more than others, but to classify someone as a lock building block, it's really hard on the slate. And we have news too with the Indiana situation. We have to see what's going on with Miles Turner. If he's out, Doug McDermott, Sabonis, Brogdon, Justin Holiday, I mean, they all get a big boost. That game's right out of the gate, so we'll get that news. But at this point, it's a wide open slate. It's wide open.
Yeah, and speaking of the Turner news, I feel like he's going to be out. Like that's just my lean on it. So obviously we'll have to wait and see how that's all going to shake out, and that's early on. So, and if that's the case, that's going to make some of those guys really interesting value plays. It's going to shoot their projections up, I'm sure, a little bit more. Let's dive in. Let's talk about the first game on the slate. Let's segue to the game we were just kind of talking about, the Dallas Mavericks and the Indiana Pacers. And Titletown, I'll go over to you. So on, you play more FanDuel, I think, but I know you obviously play both. Sabonis is a great play on DK FanDuel. You can only play 2 power forwards. How are you breaking down Sabonis and Brogdon? Because they have so much usage funneled to them, and they should be some really great options here on this slate.
Yeah, so Sabonis definitely stands out on DK, like you said. Breaking down FanDuel, Sabonis still at 9,600 is one of my favorite spend ups on the slate. Even if Turner is in the game, he gets even a bigger boost because they're going to need his size more and more. But this Pacers team has just been a team to target all year because they're running their starters out 35 plus minutes a game. And Sabonis and Brogdon command a bunch of the usage. Pick and rolls, Brogdon's always looking for him. Sabonis gets offensive rebounds. Just a good player all around. So 9,600, I feel comfortable with that price tag. I like some of the cheaper guys too. Justin Holiday on FanDuel, small forward, eligible, 4,200. Doug McDermott's price hasn't came up at all at 3,800. And I mean, he just chucks it when he's out there. Could get the spot start again if Turner's out. So I like him a lot. Great value, easy to get more stars, even though we don't like him too much. Porzingis too, 7,500 on FanDuel. Price went up a little bit from last game, but his minutes are coming into their own, and 7,500 for Porzingis is just too cheap for someone as good as he is, as much upside as he is. He fits the FanDuel scoring well too, so I like that. I like Luka a lot more on DraftKings than I do on FanDuel. He's 10-7 on DraftKings. That seems affordable. And if you're going stars and scrubs, he is my favorite pay up on DraftKings. FanDuel is too expensive for me, so I'd rather just save the money, go Sabonis, pay up at different positions that way. And then Brogdon on DraftKings is more playable than he is on FanDuel too. Only 8,300. Just playing all the minutes in the world, and other higher price guys don't stand out a ton. So I think it's the studs on DraftKings like Luka, and then it's Sabonis on FanDuel, but he's still good on DraftKings too.
Yeah, Hoop, I'm gonna head on over to you. So like Sabonis, I think him and Brogdon, they are just so absolutely safe and have a ceiling that I still think you haven't seen if Miles Turner is out. Like a couple of games they were in, we saw a lot of blowouts going on, and I think that they still have a ceiling that they can kind of like touch that we have not seen. Like you could see Brogdon go for 60, and I don't think you'd be shocked, right? Because of the amount of usage and minutes that he's playing right now. I like those two guys, I think, more than Luka right now. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers, I mean, they've turned into some of the safer fantasy options we have, and now they're dealing with injuries. I mean, Sabonis, I mean, his realistic floor, I mean, without factoring in like massive blowouts or injury, like his floor is, I feel like, 40 fantasy points. I honestly feel obviously there's outlier performances. You're going to have the 1-2% performances where he busts, but to me, I'm viewing him as like a low 40s fantasy point floor, and that's big. And
yeah, Hoop, just to kind of like touch on that, I played Sabonis probably, I think he played the Knicks and he had 39 fantasy points and he only shot 8 shots. And that was with all those guys back, right? That just shows how great his floor is. The amount of usage he's seeing, the rebounds and assists, he's just really tough to pass up on. Just
a huge floor, just under 10K still. I mean, there's guys, upper 10K, upper or low 11K where their floors are similar, I feel. So I don't know. I think he's a really strong play. You don't have, I don't think he's like a lock button play. I mean, if Turner's out, he becomes an even stronger play with massive upside. Ran into the blowout situation last game and still, essentially got there for the most part. I mean, fell a little short of value, but strong play, both sides. Brogdon, better play on DK. He's like $500 or $600 cheaper on DK. Luka, better DK play than FanDuel play. And then Porzingis is kind of opposite. Porzingis is a strong FanDuel play, not as strong on DK. So I'm kind of playing it back and forth on the sites with these guys being price sensitive, but you got a lot of options. If Turner is ruled out, Doug McDermott is still 3.8K on FanDuel. He'd become a good play. Justin Turner is really cheap on FanDuel. So for me, I'm playing the prices on the sites and looking to get exposure to these guys, obviously in cash games, but tournaments as well.
Yeah, and if Big T was here, he would be saying, I'm not playing shitty Dougie McBuckets. Like, that's exactly what he would be saying right now. Titletown, how about you? Like, is this news with Turner going to change it? Are you going to play McBuckets? Are you going to look at an Aaron Holiday, a TJ McConnell who's seen a decent boost in usage? How are you handling those bench guys if Turner is ruled out?
Yeah, so Turner's ruled out. I mean, I think Doug McDermott would get the start and they'd go Sabonis at the 5. FanDuel, he'd probably become a lock. I don't know for sure, but he's just so cheap over there. He shoots the ball. So I'm guessing he'd become very popular. I don't really like the guards as much. I'm not going to chase the Aaron Holiday game. I'm not a fan of TJ McConnell as much for DFS wise. He's a good all around point guard, solid point guard in general, but on DraftKings, you can make more of a case at 3,800 if you need the value as a last piece or something. But I'm not paying 4,100 and locking up one of my 2 point guard spots on FanDuel. And then Justin Holiday, yeah, especially if Turner misses, I definitely have a lot more interest in Justin Holiday. But even if he doesn't, 4,200 on FanDuel, he's getting the start. He's playing over 30 minutes. I think you can make do with that, even if Turner is in too.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Let's move on to the next game. We got the Nets. We got the Cavaliers. And 226 total. I'll head on over to you, Hoop. This is a game that we've been playing a lot of Cavs this year because why? Well, the Cavs have been banged up. They might get a little healthier here with Garland and Sexton. And then the Nets are a completely different team. So break down this game for me. How are you handling it?
Yeah, it's a different situation. I mean, we've been riding these Nets guys. I mean, we've been riding Durant, all over Harden the first 2 games in Brooklyn. But now Kyrie's back, and that changes a lot of things. I mean, there's not going to be many situations where Kyrie, Harden, and Durant all go out there and smash. Yes, it's possible. It can happen. It could happen. But more times than not, 2 of them are probably going to have pretty good games. One of them is essentially going to bust for DFS purposes. I can't pay these price tags right now. I need these price tags to come down. I mean, right now, these guys, for the most part, are at their peak, I think, where they're going to be in terms of price with this new roster. So the 3 studs for me are, I think, out of play. Like, I would not touch them. The one guy I still do have interest in is DeAndre Jordan. He's really cheap on FanDuel, 4.8 on DK. I think he's fine. He's just going to get a lot of easy baskets with these guys driving to the basket and drawing so much attention. So a lot of easy baskets. He's really their only center at this point. So I like him quite a bit on both sides. On the Cavs, I have nothing on the Cavs. We have a lot of good plays on the slate. Cavs are starting to get a little healthier. I'll be off the Cavs. And one thing I did want to mention, kind of circle back in that last game, power forward on FanDuel is just about as deep of a position as I've seen all season long. We have a lot of really good plays. I almost had to add a row to the cash sheet because I wanted to bring more guys into the conversation because I really think there's maybe like 7 guys that are in play for cash games at that position. So I just wanted to note that as well.
Yeah, and listen, I don't mind that because like a guy like Sabonis, like I said, I love him. So he's someone I definitely want to try and get exposure to. And if it gets him lower owned, then that's great. And obviously ownership could be more spread out at that position. And it depends on news. That can obviously shake things up where you have to pay more down. But it is what it is. We'll go over to you, Titletown, Nets and Cavs. How are you breaking this all down? Are you playing some Nets in tournaments? I feel like this is more of a fade spot, even though it has a pretty decent total.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this game, I don't like it too much because everyone's priced right, really, with the 3 studs coming back on the Nets, where it's hard to pay these prices any single day for any of these guys when they all need the ball and they're all going to shoot the ball. So limits their upside. I don't have interest really in this game. I have one guy on each side I can make a case for, and that's DeAndre Jordan on FanDuel. He's still 4,800. They're going to need his size. Kyrie, Harden, and Durant all being back. It doesn't really hurt DeAndre Jordan too much anyway, because he's not getting the ball in the low post and making a move by himself anyway. He's more there cleaning up the boards, getting putbacks, getting stocks and stuff. So he can get there regardless. So I'm fine with him on FanDuel if you need it at the center position. And then on DraftKings, the only guy I'll make a case for, more of a tournament play. I couldn't do it in cash, but if Darius Garland is back, 5,600. And if you hear there's no minute restriction or he's just ready to go and going to get his normal usage, which I'm not sure. I think 5,600 for his role is a little too cheap. He's going to shoot double-digit times. And honestly, I don't love this slate, to be honest. And I think if you go the mid-tier route, the balanced build, and you spend 5,600 for Garland, it's going to make your roster very unique. So only 2 guys that can make a case for, mainly tournaments. It's not a game I like a lot.
Yeah, Hoop, if I had to tell you have to play one of Kyrie, Harden, and KD, are you even doing it? Like, I mean, I know you don't want to go and take that approach, but if you had to play one, do you think it's just Harden because he just chucks up the ball and he's going to be the point guard in that offense?
I would lean with Harden. I just think he's a guy that's going to have the ball in his hand most, and the scoring. The combination of him having the ball and his ability to score, I think, is what I'd go with. But I obviously just don't feel great about any of them.
Oh, yeah, with all those stars on the court, your boy Isaac Okoro, he's probably going to put up a 0-0 stat line tonight.
Have to imagine. Painful.
Yeah, no, I just had to bring it up. It was the Tony Snell line is just too good not to bring up.
Yes.
But that'll wrap it up for that game. Guys, I did want to say, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. It's right below me. We'd appreciate it a ton. And you know why you got to hit that like button? Because we are giving away the final countdown tomorrow for free if we get the 200 likes. We're currently at 114. We need, my math says 85 more likes. So all you got to do is hit that like and get us to 200, and you'll get the final countdown tomorrow with JSU and Holden absolutely free. So please do that. It helps us out a ton. Let's head on over to the next game. We got the Celtics. We have the Sixers, 221 total. And again, another game that I don't think we absolutely love. I know Jason Tatum is out on the Celtics side. That is still pretty big news, but the price has gone up on some of these guys. Jaylen Brown's price tag is up. Marcus Smart. Kemba Walker is back, but he's more limited. They are still dealing with some COVID issues where it helps out that front court a bit. And then on the other side with the Sixers, they got Embiid finally back, but Curry is now going to be out. So that's going to slide Maxey into the starting lineup. So some guys moving around and shifting in these lineups. Titletown, kick it off for us. What are you doing with this game?
So for the Philly side, the only interest I really have is Embiid, and that's on DraftKings. He's 9,600, and you're able to roster 2 centers over there if you want to do it in util. So I'm fine with him. 9,600, same price as Sabonis. I think I'd rather Embiid and Sabonis rather than going like all the way up to Luka and having to play some more uncomfortable value. So Embiid makes a lot of sense. I think he can eat on this Boston team, so I like him. On FanDuel, Tristan Thompson, I swear every time I'm on this show, I mention Tristan Thompson for some reason, and he always burns me, but he's 4,400. He's going to be very low owned on FanDuel. I think he makes sense in tournaments. I mean, he get 20 points is something he easily can get. He can get 30 with upside. They're going to need his size against Embiid, so I can see his minutes going up a little more. No Jason Tatum, so there's more minutes in the front court. So I think he makes sense. More tournaments, though. I couldn't do it in cash games on FanDuel. And then the last guy, Marcus Smart on FanDuel. He's 6K, so it's not something I love, but he has steal upside for sure. They're going to need him to shoot. I'm not sure. I don't think Kemba's going to play too many minutes. Like you said, he's limited. I don't expect him to be pushed out too much. So Jaylen Brown and Smart, they're going to get majority of the minutes, majority of the usage. I think he's fine tournament play. But again, not a game I'm too interested in for DFS because they're all priced right, really.
Yeah, their prices are definitely right. And Jaylen Brown was a guy that I was looking at earlier in the day, and I said, there's a chance maybe I play him, right? Because of the amount of usage he could see. Obviously, Kemba coming back hurts. We'll head on over to you, Hoop. How are you handling this game? Because it has a healthy total, right? It's not like a 221 total. It's something that you would normally be like, hey, I'm probably going to play these guys. You would expect Embiid is a really interesting tournament option that you could spend up for that people might not be on. How are you handling this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly tournament stuff. I mean, it's Jaylen Brown in tournaments. You mentioned his name. I think he's interesting in tournaments. Big upside, could have big usage here. Marcus Smart on FanDuel. Tristan Thompson maybe on FanDuel. But like I said, Tristan Thompson, power forward on FanDuel, and the position is just like loaded up. So don't really see myself going there. On the 76ers side, moderate interest in Tobias Harris. I mean, Seth Curry's out. He's been chucking it a little bit, so some extra shots for the rest of these guys. Embiid in tournaments, Ben Simmons is probably a guy I'm only going to play if either Harris or Embiid is out. So I don't know. It's just not a great game. I mean, the total is up there. I mean, Philadelphia is favored by 5, so should remain a close game, but it's mostly tournament stuff for me. And then, like I said, Marcus Smart, I think, is in the cash game conversation on FanDuel. Shooting guard isn't the strongest position, but for me, not the greatest games for DFS.
Yeah, definitely not the best game for DFS overall. But again, there are some spend ups that you can take some shots on. MB would be my favorite, I would say, if I had to pick one on this game, and then probably Jaylen Brown number 2. But yeah, I mean, we're moving through these games quick, not on purpose, right? I mean, these early games are a bit rough, and that's why it was kind of unfortunate. If you don't know, we lost that Memphis and Portland game. It was a later game. That game got postponed. So if you're just kind of headed into the show and you're wondering why maybe people haven't been talking about that game, or if you're in a Discord chat and people aren't talking about a guy like Tillman or John Moran or Damian Lillard anymore, that's why that game is off the schedule. And we got some rougher games to start here. As we keep moving along, we'll definitely have some better DFS friendly games. Let's go to the next one. Similar total here. We have a 222 total. We got the Miami Heat. We got the Toronto Raptors here. And the Raptors, they're favored by 4.5 points. And this Raptors team, they were struggling at the start of the year, but they've been playing a little bit better. It seems like they figured out their rotations a little bit. They're planning on playing Aaron Baines for only about 15 to 18 minutes. And the rest of the way, they're really loading up on Chris Boucher Boucher. And they're loading up on him. And the reason why is they're giving him that second team usage at the second quarter. And he's been playing absolutely phenomenal, but he gets a tough matchup here against Bam Adebayo. We got no Jimmy Butler, so there is still some decent usage to go around. Titletown, let's head on over to you. This is a game that it doesn't feel like the greatest DFS game, but I think there are some tournament options that we can get some exposure to here.
Yeah, I like this game for tournaments a little bit too, because when I'm doing tournaments, I usually focus on a little more of a game. In NBA, run it back a little bit because you always want the game to stay close when you're paying for the stars. And I like Kyle Lowry, Bam, Van Vliet. They all seem a little too cheap on DraftKings on a slate like this. 7,600 for Lowry, 7,500 for Van Vliet, 8,600 for Bam. I like 5,700 for Dragic too. I think they're all just priced right in a game that'll be back and forth. I think it'll stay pretty close too. It's a 4.5 point spread, so I'm not worried about blowout at all. And I like the balanced build, especially in tournaments, because I don't know exactly where people are going to go in cash in the normal build yet, but it definitely doesn't seem like enough value for me to go all the way up to Luka and pay for multiple stars and then multiple scrubs. So I like the balanced build. I like this game for sure. So going to have some pieces there. On FanDuel, Dragic stands out as a better play, but I like him on both sides. 5,200. They're going to need him to score to keep up with them. And then Tyler Hero on FanDuel too. He's only 6,100. Again, at that shooting guard position, him and Smart, if you're picking between the two, because it's only $100 difference, I probably lean Hero slightly, but it is really close. I usually side with Hero. You know you're going to get a lot of shots. He possesses the ball, has a lot of assist upside too. So I like that a lot. I'm going to stick more with the good players in this game, though, that are priced in the mid-tier. Bam, Lowry, Van Vliet, and get my exposure that way.
Yeah, I think those make a lot of sense. And Hoop, we love interacting with the chat, right? But man, we got one chatter right now. I mean, Mr. Reggie Wilson. I mean, come on, he's an absolute troll, and we got to give Reggie the business here for a second, right?
Yeah, I mean, Reggie, I mean, just good mojo on this show, good mojo in the chat. And you got this clown coming in here calling out my boy Title about absolutely nothing, saying Title's trash. If Title's trash, I mean, if you're referring to at DFS, you think Title's trash. Well, you know, he has head-to-heads posted in the lobby on both sides. You can go in there and get after him that way. Don't come here on this show and come after my boy Title. Come on, man. Be better than that. This show is not about that. This is about great mojo, having fun, making fun of people. And, you know, you coming in here with that crap, just get on out of here, man. We don't want you.
Yeah,
Put the dislike too on the way out.
Games on both sites. You can take them whenever you want them.
Yeah, like Reggie, if you think he's bad, go grab his games and then like get in the Discord chat and get after him and like, you know, get Title a little motivated maybe to take you out, right? Don't just come in here and be like, oh, you know, you have no face on your little avatar, right? And just talk and trash. Put your money where your mouth is, Reggie. Go find Titletown in the lobby and take him on, man. And then talk all your trash, get after him. That's
the thing is, you know the trolls now. I mean, they just love to hear themselves talk nowadays. You got to embrace them. Got to give them so little love. Reggie, your life will be better. If you want to play my head-to-heads, take them. If not, I hope you have a great day, man.
There you go. What a good. I mean, how could you hate on Title? Like, there's a lot of people. I mean, come at me. Come at Mangone. Like, there's a lot of ammo on us. Like, go after Title. I mean, what's wrong with you?
I can take it. It doesn't hurt my feelings. So if you want to do it, just send it on.
Yeah, we don't have the ammo on Title yet. You know, he hasn't tripped down a hallway or swung really terrible with a baseball bat. There's not enough ammo yet on Title. We'll get it at some point, but we're not there yet. Just gotta wait for Big T to own him on the basketball court.
Well, I mean, you got a guy that comes on the show. I mean, every day, obviously, Big T's out. He recommended last weekend to take the Browns and the Rams in a money line parlay situation. You want to come at somebody, like save it for Friday when Big T comes back.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be tuning into that one. That'll be a good time for sure. Did not think that would end well, and it did not. So, oh man, poor Tony, pour one out for that take. Let's dive in. Or actually, Hoop, did you talk too much about the Miami side? You should probably discuss it a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's plays here. I mean, Dragic, I think is in play. They're going to need him with the Raptors rolling out Lowry and Van Fleet for most of the game. Dragic's going to have a role here. So I like him. He's my favorite on that side of the ball. I agree with Hero. Good price tag. I think he's a fine option. On the Raptors side, I like Lowry. I mean, Kyle Lowry he's not necessarily like a building block guy, but like if I land on Lowry, like I'm feeling fine. Like he's just steady. He's very steady. He has not many floor games. He's typically upper 30s, low 40s in terms of fantasy points. That's good enough for his price tag. So I like him. I like Siakam a little bit. And I've been playing Boucher quite a bit. And obviously the price is on the rise here. But, you know, what is he on DK? Is it still low sevens? I had FanDuel up.
Well, Lowry's at 7.6, if that's who you were talking about.
Boucher. Okay.
Oh,
so
Boucher.
On DK,
He's 7.3.
Boucher's, 7.3. I mean, I think Boucher's an 8K guy. Like, I think you're getting a discount on Boucher. I've played him the last two slates he's been on. And it's worked out well. Like he's solid, and I like what they're doing with him, bringing him off the bench opposed to starting him. I think it makes a ton of sense. He just comes in there and crushes. So I like Boucher again. Tournaments, cash games, tons of upside, but really like Lowry, Boucher, Dragic better on FanDuel for sure. Hero better on FanDuel as well. But those other guys, I think they're all in play here.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like I kind of said it earlier, like the reason why Boucher is so great is he doesn't start, right? So he doesn't have to deal with Pascal and all those guys. And he gets his kind of own little situation where he can kind of start off the second unit pretty well to start the game. Then he gets that closeout time where he gets to actually close with the starters and do pretty well. So, and get you those minutes that you want. And that's what you love to see with some of these, fantasy guys that are coming off the bench. When you can get that type of opportunity, that's why he's priced all the way at 7.3K. He's definitely a really good option, someone to look at. So yeah, definitely think this is an interesting game to get some exposure to in your tournaments. And if I am playing these guys, right, if I'm playing like a Tyler Hero, I'm probably going to run it back with like a Boucher or a Kyle Lowry. I'm okay with doing that. I'm not saying you have to, but it feels like a good spot to do that because that means the game is likely competitive and some of these guys are going to get there. Let's head on over and let's go to the next game. Let's talk Pistons and let's talk Hawks. Hoop, we'll go back to you because this is your team, right? The Pistons. Yeah. You're Jeremy Grant. You got a jersey hanging in the closet. Break down the Pistons for me and the Hawks.
We talked about Jeremy Grant. What did he do last game? I'm curious. I got another 43 spot. I mean,
just another 40 spot. He keeps printing.
It is impressive. He keeps going. I can't do it, but
I mean, if I told you at 7.7K you could have 40 fantasy points, you would sign up. It's just like Kyle Lowry, who you
I would sign up, but I just know the day I click that name, he's going for like 19 fantasy points. I mean, it's one of those situations. I haven't played. I mean, many people have. I mean, no one's really been on him. I know once I get on him, it's not going to go well. So I don't care if he's going for 50 a game. I'm going to be off him. I can't do it at this point. It's just one of those things where I missed the boat along with everyone else. I mean, his ownership remains low, but I'm not getting on now. So I will remain off the Jeremy Grant boat. Mason Plumlee, I think, is in play here for the Pistons. We talked about him a little bit on the show we did MLK Day. Just steady, man. And at 5.2K, he contributes across the board. You can count on, upper 20s in terms of minutes and decent upside. So I like him a little bit. I think he's in the conversation on the Hawk side. Kind of waiting on the Cam Reddish news. And I think one of the funniest things in this entire slate is the DK price on Kevin Huerter. They went ahead and priced him like the Hawks are going to be without all their guys today, and Huerter's going to be like 1 of 5. He's 9.5K for Kevin Huerter on DK. Not sure what happened there.
I mean, anyone playing Huerter today who has to be paying the rake, right? I mean, that's just absurd. He's not paying that price tag off, right?
DK can tell the future. Didn't you know that?
Yeah. It's going to be the funniest thing of all time if Huerter comes out and drops
Goes
like 50
off.
tonight.
If he does, it'd be legendary.
That would be so damn good. But we got to wait on this Reddish news. He's missed the last couple. If Reddish is out, Huerter becomes a lock at 9.5K. I just don't see how you can't just get him in that lineup. I mean, it'd be a must play. No, but in all reality, on FanDuel, the price is still pretty low on Huerter. I believe it's mid 5, so I think he would be a strong play on FanDuel. Definitely. What is he on FanDuel? He's 5.5. So in play there if Reddish is out. If Reddish is in, I'll be off him. Clint Capella is another name. I mean, just really establishing his role here on the Hawks and just crushing. I mean, back-to-back 50 fantasy point performances, 8K on FanDuel, 7.6 on DK. I think he's in play here. Trae Young is I don't think he's going to have all that much ownership tonight. And obviously things have not gone very well, but he keeps getting in these weird situations where it's either foul trouble or blowouts one way or the other and just hasn't been there. I think he's still fine, and he's going to have some big games. So he's a guy I want to be on in tournaments moving forward. So in tournaments tonight, I think he's a strong play. But really got to kind of wait on this Reddish news and see. I mean, it's not the biggest thing. I guess it's more important for like FanDuel. But Capella in play on both sites. Mason Plumlee, I think, is in play. Trae Young in tournaments specifically.
Yeah, and so you mentioned I just got distracted by news. We got some news here on the Pacers that could be coming here. He says, he's talking about Sampson and Turner. It's nothing big. Sorry. Okay. Got distracted there. I saw the coach's name pop up on my phone, so I thought maybe we got some news finally on them, but we did not. But you did mention Trae Young, right? And I do want to mention that he is a guy that has been driving to the hoop a lot better lately. He's been attacking the basket more. And Clint Capella, I saw a quote from the coach. He basically said, like, Clint's our guy. And like he said, like he's like establishing himself more offensively, which is encouraging to see. And I know the price 7.6 feels expensive on Capella, but I still think you can kind of attack with that price. And I think it could become 8K. It could be 8.2K. Like there still is a little bit of value there, I think, on his price. We do have one of the chatters, Ryan Mickle. He said, I have COVID, so I have nothing better to do than gamble my stimulus money. Ryan, we wish you the best. We wish you to be healthy. And hey, enjoy that stimulus money and gamble with us at Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets and gamble with Hoop, right? We got sports betting going to be in Michigan soon, right, Hoop?
Yeah. Pumped. Yeah. Coming on Friday. Can't wait. It's an exciting time. Long overdue, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you know what Hoop's going to do? Hoop is going to watch that MMA live show that we have going on. We're going to have an MMA live show on Saturday. He's going to listen to Titletown, listen to our guy on the Run Pure Bet side, Joey Work, and he's going to listen to Draft Cheat. He's going to take that money and probably bet on the fights, right, Hoop? I mean, this is going to be a first good day for you to be able to really gamble on everything.
Oh, I can't wait. And I am. That show is going to be great. New addition to the schedule this week with the big MMA show. We got a strong MMA team. I mean, kind of under the radar. But this team we've built for MMA is big. Title, why don't you talk about that show that we got going this week?
Yeah, so we're doing it at 11 Eastern on Saturday. It's going to be DC, myself, and then Joey Work. if you guys, Joey Work's been killing it on the bet side. So he's going to be more breaking down how he thinks it's going to go, what value he sees on the betting lines and stuff like that. I'll be more approaching it with the DFS, the prices on the guys on both sides, how I think it's going to go, whether it's going to be up tempo, decision, all of that good stuff. And it's a huge card. I mean, McGregor, Poirier, anytime McGregor's on a card, all eyes are going to be on it. So it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And just come hang out. Everyone likes hanging out and watching DC talk and stuff too. He loves MMA. It's going to be a lot of fun. So 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, and it'll just get your morning kicked off. We have no football on Saturday now. Got to wait for Sunday. So nothing better than a little MMA and NBA on Saturday.
Yeah. When does that slate lock? So it's an 11 a.m. show. What time's lock time, title?
Yeah, I think it's like 5:15 or 4:15 in the afternoon. It's a later lock time, so it's a prime time card.
That's good though. Plenty of time for people to watch it. So if you miss out on the live show, it's okay. You can come back later and make sure to watch that before it happens. I'll definitely be listening, and I can't wait. Right, everyone's eyes are on the McGregor fights, of course. I'm sure my eyes will be on it. And will that be on ABC as well, title?
No, this one's pay-per-view. So
yeah, probably. I mean, it's McGregor, right? The money, so it makes sense. Just didn't know. I didn't know people knew too. You can obviously watching these fights are a lot easier now with some of being on ABC. So trying to get people obviously more involved in it, and use the promo code BETS25 off to get a discount on the bet side to check that out. And if you want to get on the MMA DFS product, use Workbench21 to get 25% off. But yeah, let's move on. Let's talk about what are the games of the nights now, right? I mean, this is definitely one that we have to discuss. It's the Magic, it's the Timberwolves here. And with the Magic and Timberwolves, like 219 total. Titletown, we go to you. Like there's so much really good value here on the Timberwolves side. Break it down for me.
Yeah, so just quickly, the other game, only people I'm interested in is Capella and Mason Plumlee in that Hawks Detroit game. On both sides, I think the centers, and then Jeremy Graham's price did decrease 700 actually from MLK Day to today. So the 700 price decrease with his ceiling and with how many minutes he's been getting, I'm fine with him in tournaments today, just because people don't pay 7,700 for him. But I like the big price decrease, and I think he has a ceiling in this matchup. So wanted to mention that about that game. But yeah, this game stands out for sure. And I like the value. What stands out right away is Vanderbilt on FanDuel. He's 4,800. He's just been out there, and he's a good player. He's athletic. He gets rebounds. He gets layups. He's just always active. So I like him more on FanDuel, but he's a good play on DraftKings as well at 4,900. Aaron Gordon on FanDuel at power forward. He's 7K. He's just been absolutely crushing. He's playing a ton of minutes. They have a rotation with them where he comes out early at like the 6 to 7 minute mark in the first quarter. They put him back in at the end of the first quarter, and then he gets a lot of second quarter run to start it off with the backups without Vooch on the court. So his usage goes up a lot there. So I like him, especially on FanDuel, because the power forward position, I mean, that's deep, but 7K is value for Gordon. Good on DraftKings as well. Anthony Edwards on DraftKings. He's 4,500. He's 4,700 on FanDuel. You just talked about it. We talked about it last time. He comes out there in the second unit and just shoots a bunch. So anyone that's going to come in and chuck double-digit shots for a cheap price tag in a game that I have some interest in, I'll definitely take that. I like him on both sides. And then Vucevic on DraftKings. 8,600 just feels way too cheap for him. I don't know why his price is going down instead of up. He's just playing a ton of minutes. Solid matchup. They're going to need him they're going to need him just to score against this Timberwolves team that Naz Reid and Vanderbilt are the guys in the front court. Not worried about it. Vooch at 8.6K feels like one of the top plays on the slate on DraftKings.
Yeah, before we kind of go into that, we did get some news that kind of just leaked in. So Sexton and Garland, they are both game time decisions. So that's something to watch. And here's another one. And we should probably, before we dive back into the Magic and Timberwolves game, we should talk about it. The Pacers have activated Jeremy Lamb. Now, I don't know how many minutes he's going to play. Hoop, does that change anything with some of these guys we talked about earlier? Does that change your opinion on Sabonis or maybe a Doug McDermott? What do you think about that?
I don't think necessarily those guys, but more like Justin Holiday. I think if Lamb gets in there and plays like 20 minutes, I think Justin Holiday would get the biggest downgrade for me. Obviously, got to dig a little deeper on all this, and hopefully we get more information in terms of the minutes. But first first thoughts on this would be Justin Holiday would be the one that would get the biggest downgrade for me. I think McDermott would still be safe. I think Sabonis would still be safe. McDermott, I think, is definitely tied to, Miles Turner's situation, obviously.
Yeah, Tyler, how about you? Does this change much? I mean, I didn't know when Jeremy Lamb would be back, and I thought that'd be like a pretty big addition for this Pacers team. I think this team is absolutely loaded, and I think that's going to be very helpful for them. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play, but what do you think of this situation now?
Yeah, so people are asking in chat because he's minimum price on FanDuel. I know for sure. Haven't seen on DK. I think he's min price on DK.
I'm sure he is. I haven't seen his name. I'm sure it's buried there.
Yeah, so people are wondering if you can play him. I just can't play him unless I do hear from the coach a certain minute. Like if you're saying 25, 30 minutes, maybe. But if you don't hear stuff, I don't think you can at least play Lamb just because there's so many unknowns. He hasn't played for a while. And then I agree. The biggest downgrade goes to Justin Holiday, who I was interested in. I think McDermott's more about Turner, and they're going to need his size and need him to play if Turner's out, even if Lamb's in. So don't think it really reflects him. Sabonis, Brogdon, doesn't change my mind on them. They're still going to play them a ton of minutes. So it really only is Holiday, but I can't play Lamb unless I hear 25, 30 minutes, even at min price.
Yeah, and so Lamb is 3.9K. Does that change anything for you there, Titletown?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even going to really play him at min price because of minutes, but yeah, 3.9K, that feels too expensive. He feels better on FanDuel if you somehow get the minutes clarification because he's 3,500 at shooting guard, but it's still not something that I'm interested in on a big slate like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the best slate, or it's a big slate, but it's not the best value slate. So that's why we're kind of talking about it and trying to figure out. And we'll have, I mean, it's like 5:26, right? This is when that 5:30 injury report comes out. So guys, if you could post in the chat if you see any news. I'm staring at Twitter trying to get that.
And I will say, like this Pacers team, like this isn't the Jeremy Lamb of the past when he's going to step in and shoot it 15 times or just shoot a bunch. Like Brogdon and Sabonis's role is a lot bigger than it ever has been in the past, and Lamb's been out for a little while. So I don't expect Lamb, because I saw someone in chat like 6K Lamb and all that. Maybe I'm wrong. It depends a lot about LeVert too and all of his status. But Brogdon and Sabonis command so much usage. I don't see them just giving Lamb a bunch and letting him take it. So it's going to be a spot I'm definitely going to watch on this Pacers for the next couple of games, seeing how it goes.
Yeah, well, the problem with Lamb is we have guys like Anthony Edwards who are an interesting value play for not too much more, and he's in this game. And we talked about in the last show we did, right? How he should get more minutes, and Hoop was like, Saunders is a donkey. What's he doing? Yeah. And we all kind of agreed, and he finally did it, right? He got
must have listened minutes. He was probably listening to the show, right?
Yeah, he was listening to the show and he said, I gotta do what these guys are saying. They're pretty sharp fellas. So he jumped on that and finally played him. Who break it down for me? So this value on the Timberwolves, it's some of the better value plays in the slate. They seem like guys we're gonna mix and match throughout our lineups. And why is speaking of weird price tags, right? Like Kevin Huerter's 9.5. Why is Vucevic 8.6 against the Timberwolves? Yeah. That's a bad price tag too. So talk about this game because there's a lot to like.
Yeah, really good price tag on Vooch on DK. He'll be popular, but that's fine, man. He's one of the safer fantasy guys. We talked about it with Sabonis, how you just feel like when he goes out there, you can kind of lock yourself in for at least 40 fantasy points. I think you can basically say the same for Vucevic. It's a really good spot for the Magic as well. Title brought up a really good point with Aaron Gordon, and I love what they're doing. I mean, man, just pulling him 5 or 6 minutes in the game, let Vooch do his thing, close to the end of the first quarter. Gordon comes back in, and that first rotation on Monday, he dominated, in a 4-minute span. I mean, you're talking points, rebounds, assists. He piled them up in a hurry. And this matchup is even better. So I really like Gordon. Point guard eligible on DK, which is kind of funny to see him up there, point guard eligibility. But 7K on FanDuel, strong play at that power forward position. I mean, the decision you make at power forward is a big one tonight if you're playing on FanDuel, because there are a lot of guys in play and a lot of guys that can bust your ass if you fade them. So it's a tough decision at power forward on FanDuel tonight. But you can play Gordon at point guard on DK if you want. I think he's in play at 7.4K. As long as they stick with these rotations, which they will, this matchup is great. I think he can go for another big game here, so I like him. Evan Fournier is back, but I don't think it matters all that much. I don't think he's going to be.
Is he back? He's back today? Because I didn't see that yet.
Yeah, he's going to play. So, I still like Gordon. I still like Vooch. I think they're fine. And then, like you said, on the Timberwolves side, you got a coach. He's 3.5K. He'll have ownership. The floor's low on him, and he's a guy that it's not necessarily playing him to think he's going to have the big fantasy game. It's playing him to see what he does for the rest of your lineup. Are you going to be able to get up a couple more spends because his floor is low? And, Edwards being in there, I think Okogie is the one that gets the biggest hit. Still in play at 3.5K, but it's a low floor situation. Vanderbilt, strong play. I mean, this guy looks good. Naz Reid back in the starting lineup. I think we can consider him again. Good game overall. Some pieces that might go a little lower owned. Like I think you can get D'Angelo Russell at a low ownership number. I think Malik Beasley you can get at a low ownership number. But this is it's one of the better games on the slate now.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the more better games. I didn't know that about Fournier. Like I don't know. I think it hurts Aaron Gordon more than I guess you guys do. I don't know, Title. Do you agree or disagree with me? Because that was something I must have missed when all that postponement news was coming.
It was earlier. They kind of it was mixed in at a weird time earlier in the day when they kind of announced him in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as good as it used to be, but I mean, Gordon's still he's bringing the ball up. He is point guard stuff, and he good FanDuel too. Stocks, he always gets the steals and blocks. So a little downgrade, but I still think he's viable on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, it might not cut into too much, but still, again, Vucevic's a guy I'm still all over. Absolutely, smash play, done when you got to be all over.
Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter listed as doubtful.
Wow, let's go, Herder, 9.5K. Let's go, baby.
9.5K, Kevin Herder.
It's getting closer now, boys.
No possible. That's great. You would need Trae Young, Capella, the game canceled.
Yeah. They'd have to have four bodies. That's big though. That's big news.
Yeah, it is.
What if I told you Trae Young was out? Would you actually do it? I mean, they really don't have people. It's insane.
I don't.
I mean, Sabonis and Vooch and stuff. You just pay for the talent. I think at that point.
But Reddish and Hunter out. I mean, that's big. I mean, Capella more in the conversation. Herder on FanDuel. John Collins comes more in the conversation a little bit. I mean,
another power forward there. Who?
Another power forward. Yeah, I definitely are going to have to add some rows now. I mean, that is it's a deep position, but that's pretty big news.
So now looking at it, Solomon Hill might be a value now. I mean, he's all the way down there, 3.1K on DraftKings, more of a DraftKings play and stuff. Just looking at it, I mean, Rondo might get a little more run. It's going to be interesting to see what news we get, but that definitely shakes up a lot of the slate for sure.
Yeah, so Rondo's the guy that kind of caught my eye because Kevin Herter could easily play the 3, right? I mean, you could easily put him there against Detroit. I mean, I don't think you could put him at the 4. I mean, I know positional basketball is a thing, but I don't know how much you could get that. Solomon Hill can play the 4, right, though? I mean, that's something that they can easily do. Mr. Isaiah Okoro or Tony Snell, he could obviously get some run, too. He's played 13 and 12 minutes the last couple games.
Yeah, but we're pushing it. I mean, I don't play Tony Snell.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'd rather play Herder at 9,500 than Tony Snell. I don't care.
Oh, I would disagree with that because of the 3K. It just gets me anything. As Tony says, you can get a guy for 8 fantasy points and he can still be on the winner. But I think Rondo could be the guy. Hoop, is that crazy? I think Rondo is the one. I know the minutes haven't exactly been there so far, but if those other guys are out, someone has to slide in there and play some of the wing position.
What's the price tag?
I mean, Rondo's 3K.
Yeah, I mean 3. Yeah, I mean there's still not. Yeah, that situation helps a little bit. There's still not. These really cheap guys. I mean, you got Okoro at 3.5. So Rondo, let's see.
It's just his minutes haven't been great. He's at 8 and 9, and Goodwin is. I mean, maybe it's Goodwin at 3.1 because Goodwin's minutes have been more steady, right? You see 23, 15, 15, 19.
I'd probably go Goodwin.
Yeah, it's. I kind of want to look at some quotes and see what the coach is saying if anything pops there. But I mean that's definitely massive news. I know they said James Jones will play for the Suns. Alec Burks, that's for the next day. That's going to be interesting, but that's not for today. We need to ban having news pop for the next day because that's absolutely pointless.
Robert Williams limited 10 to 15 minutes I saw. So a little more Tristan Thompson on tournaments on FanDuel. I'm going to keep going to the well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that helps him a little. It's not going to hurt him, right? The 10 to 15 minutes. I know Brad Stevens has been pretty cautious with any COVID guy. So whenever Jason Tatum does come back, you expect him to be a little more cautious with him. And it just came out, according to Stevens, he's starting to ramp up on the Boston activity from the COVID guys. Obviously not the ones that, like Robert Williams who are just getting off, but the other ones who have been in there. So it sounds like Stevens will maybe ramp up those minutes a bit, but that's not going to.
Is he the only coach doing this, by the way? I haven't heard of any other coaches doing this. I mean, these guys are world-class athletes. They're bouncing back instantly from the COVID stuff.
They did it with, like, I know Melton they did it with. So I think they're doing it case by case, but like Stevens is like doing it for every player. Like it doesn't matter, which is a little wonky.
I mean, did those guys even for sure have it?
No, so I think it was like, hey, if you had a close contact and it's like because you haven't been doing basketball activities, you're just sitting at home, I don't know, playing video games.
Tatum was tested positive. I do
Tatum
know that.
tested positive. I mean, whatever. I mean, that's his
he'll get ramped.
Do whatever the hell he wants, I guess.
Yeah, he's not going to play 40 minutes his first game back. I'll say that for sure. But
Mangone muted himself while talking.
I don't know how I muted myself while talking. That's my bad. But Kemba will be on a similar minutes limit tonight as Sunday. So expect the 20 minutes again. That's probably going to be same situations like we talked about for Marcus Smart and all those other guys. Do we have anything else to really talk about here with this Minnesota game? I mean, we got Vanderbilt's a really good value hoop. I don't know how much you touched on him. We talked about Anthony Edwards a little bit.
Yeah. Just a good overall game. I mean, Naz Reid's more in the conversation now that he's starting Vanderbilt. Guys like D'Angelo Russell, Beasley will be lower owned pieces in this game. Terrence Ross will be lower owned now that Fournier is back. But it's a premier game on the slate for DFS, really.
Yep, definitely one of the better games on the slate. Let's go over to the next one. We got Phoenix and we got Houston, and an interesting game, right? It's one where we have new guys here, right? We have Oladipo getting a really nice amount of usage. John Wall still out. You got DeMarcus Cousins, you got Wood, you have Oladipo, Eric Gordon, a lot of guys to look at here. Titletown, I'll head on over to you first with this Phoenix and Houston game. Break it down for me.
Yeah, so this game is pretty good. It's not bad, I think, for this slate. Like Cameron Johnson at 3,900 on DraftKings stands out. Like I'd rather play him than most of the other value, like Okogie at 3,500 or some of the other value we've talked about. Like I feel good about the minutes with Cameron Johnson. He's not the best player, but I just think he's too cheap. So I like that. Christian Wood, centers, Christian Wood and Ayton. I'll put them in the same category because they're both center eligible. 8,400 for Wood, cheaper for Ayton at 7,000. So I think Wood gets overlooked here because the position's so deep. And I just love Christian Wood. Now he's on his own team with Oladipo, obviously, but Wood is just such a good player, has such a high ceiling, gets the double-double, not as much triple-double upside, but the double-double is definitely in the realm of possibilities and pretty likely. So 8,400 is a good pivot off of Vooch, I think, at lower ownership. Victor Oladipo came out, looked really good last game, played 32 minutes. I expect that to go up a little bit too. And 7,800, he's just commanding so much of the usage now that he's not with Brogdon and Sabonis, and it's just really him and Wood. So I like him. Chris Paul is the last one I'll mention too. 7,200 on DraftKings. He stands out. I think this is a game just like the Magic and just like the Raptors game where like Van Vliet, Bam, Lowry stood out good in the mid-tier. I like the Christian Wood, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, and Victor Oladipo in the mid-tier with Cameron Johnson as value in this game.
Yeah, Cameron Johnson is a value play. Who talk to me about that one? Because like he's definitely one that's popping. He hasn't really closed out too much. They've been closed with Jay Crowder the game before. What are you doing with Cam Johnson? Because he's a value play that's popping, and I don't know what to do with him here.
Yeah, I mean, we're struggling for value, and you're looking at a guy that kind of just got inserted into the starting lineup, can probably count on mid-20s for minutes. He typically produces at a pretty decent rate. So, as it stands now, he's one of the better value pieces out there. Is this floor low? Yeah, I think it is pretty low, but we just don't have many options. It's a good matchup here against the Rockets. That's why, his name's in this conversation and popping in the projections. Chris Paul, I think, is a good play, safe play in this matchup. DeAndre Ayton coming off a good game last time out, finally got it going after a lot of ups and downs so far this season. I mean, there were some nice quotes about getting him the ball in certain spots and whatnot. So I think he's a fine option at center. On the Rocket side, Oladipo, I think, is a strong play. Yeah, his minutes are going to ramp up. He shot 23 times last game. He can do whatever he wants on offense with this team, and that's very valuable. And I don't think you really have to worry about blowouts in this situation. He'll be out there playing. I mean, they're gonna play him. So I like Oladipo here. I like Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon played 34 minutes, and he's going to be chucking when he's out there. He's going to be shooting. They just don't have many guys. So when he's out there, he'll be shooting the rock. So I like him. 5.5 on DK, 5.2 on FanDuel. Obviously a better play on FanDuel. But that's about it for me. It's going to be Paul, Cam Johnson, Ayton, Oladipo, and Gordon. Those are really the only guys I'm considering in this game.
Yeah, definitely some tougher guys in the roster. And like the one thing I have a problem with is on the Suns is they're playing a lot slower, right? So Oladipo, like he's in a really good spot where I think the price is, at least in this situation, let's say that John Wall was out, he's out for 2 games, right? So over the next 2 games, Oladipo's price is probably going to go up, but it's not the greatest pace. It's not the greatest matchup to having to deal with Chris Paul defense. Is he a guy you're considering? Because on DK, I have him on the cash chart right now.
Yeah.
He's not a lock by any means, but he's someone that I think is in play because of the volume he's seeing. But I am worried about the matchup and pace of the game.
Yeah, matchup's not the greatest, but I think long-term Oladipo is going to be like a 9K guy on this Rockets team. So I think you're still getting a discount here. The matchup's not the greatest, but like I said, he shot 23 freaking times last game. He's going to be chucking when he's out there. The minutes are going to get ramped up. I just think it's a good situation for him. 5.5 point spread here. Nothing too crazy. I think you're getting a discount on him still.
Yep, agreed. I think there's a discount. Titletown, would you agree Oladipo still has a decent discount at that price and someone you want to get some exposure to and be overweight on?
Yep, I think he's playable in cash games and tournaments. They're just going to need him and Wood shooting, so I like it.
All right, guys, please hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're going to give away the final countdown show with JSU and Holden tomorrow. If we can get to 200 likes, we got 500 of you watching. And this is just very hurtful, as JT says. If you're hurting our feelings here, please hit that like, hit that subscribe, get that to 200, and we will have that show free tomorrow. So all you got to do is hit that like right below my ugly mug. So hit it now if you can. Also wanted to mention, we have a little bit of a promo going on here over at Monkey Knife Fight. Use the code RUNPURE. Matches up to $50 over there. So you have $100 in your account. All you got to do is head on over to Run Pure Sports and then sign up, use the code RUNPURE, and then get in the little chat that we have going on for Monkey Knife Fight. It's in our Discord. Hoop's been dropping plays in there. Titletown, have you been dropping any MMA plays in there for the people?
Yeah, I didn't see anything I love, so I didn't this past card, but usually in there dropping plays, and then I do a show twice a week with Holden too that we hit some live plays on. So definitely very active in a Monkey Knife Fight, and it's been a lot of fun, and a lot of people have made some money. So if you haven't checked it out, they match you $50 with the code RUNPURE. Just a player prop thing. We're already DFS players. You can bet over and under DFS fantasy points, and they have pretty good payouts too. So it's a site I like. It's a really unique thing that they do, and I enjoy it. And I know that's why I'd make videos for it and make bets. It's been successful for us. So if there's any plays in there in any sport, we tag everyone and make some money.
Yep. Hoop, we got 15 to 20 minutes and we're over the 200 likes. So we got the free final countdown. How much to get the gear, right? We didn't give any gear away out today. We got to make them work for this, right?
Yeah, we got the shows locked in for free tomorrow. You guys got to the 200. We got about 500. It's going to be a tall task, but I'm going to say if we get to 300, we can send Tony's ass to FedEx today. So hit the like, hit the subscribe button if you want some gear. It's you got 90 more, got a couple more games to cover, so you got some time. Also, I mean, I don't want to do it, but I mean, I've done it before where I guess you're the producer, so it's up to you, where we hold them hostage for the workbench play of the day. But for now, let's just get to the 300 if you want some gear, and we'll send Tony to FedEx and get that shipped out.
Yep. We'll hold them to the 300. We'll see. We'll see how the chat acts and see if they're being kind, as JT says. He likes when the chatters are all kind and nice. And we got to send, as Nick says, Big T's still stuck at FedEx basically right now. So that's why Big T's not here. He's stuck there just slapping all the codes on for everyone, putting all the packages in. So that's
Big T's back on Friday, folks. I know a lot of people in the chat are asking where Big T is. He'll be back. He'll be back with us on Friday. We got a nice NBA slate on Friday. He'll be back full swing on Friday.
Yeah, and we'll finally do the giveaway. We're not trying to get out of the giveaway that we were doing. We had a little one that you basically had to post your workbench play of the day for the NFL slate last week. And I got some of the guys compiled, like some of the guys I think should be in contention. I want to show Big T and then have him, list the top 3, and then just kind of pick which one is his favorite. So we'll be doing that on Friday when Big T's back. I was happy to do it, but we had to make sure Big T's picking the workbench play, right? It can't be me. It's got to be Big T here.
Big T.
Doing that. So let's go on. Let's talk about the next game that we have on the slate. Obviously, we don't have the Memphis and Portland game. If you're just getting here, that's off the slate. We got 2 massive totals left. We got the Kings, and they're playing 0 defense right now. We got the Clippers, 230.5 total. Hoop, I'm going to go to you because we talked about how bad this Kings defense is, right? They're just giving up points after points after points. And I want to attack some of the Clippers, but it doesn't seem like there's tons of these guys filing into my lineups.
Yeah, it's a weird game where you got a 230 total, and I just don't think there's a ton of plays. Like I think you can obviously play Paul George, you can play Kawhi Leonard. Much better plays on FanDuel to me than on DraftKings. Paul George is 8-5 on FanDuel. Kawhi Leonard is 9-1. I think they're both very strong options. Lou Williams, I think, still questionable. Patrick Beverley's been playing well, but his price tag has also adjusted, so I'm not going to be on him. It's a weird spot where the total's big, and I just don't have a ton of plays here. And I think anytime you have a team going against the Clippers, it's risky. They've been blowing teams out, and this is a spot. I don't like to predict blowouts, but I think this is a spot where we can very reasonably think that the Clippers could dominate this game and blow the Clippers out of the water. Clippers are playing no defense whatsoever, or the Kings are playing no defense whatsoever. They're giving up over 120 points per game in their last 8 games. That's dangerous against this Clippers team. So I am very hesitant in playing guys, especially on the Kings side. I'm fine with some of these Clippers guys. I'm fine with Paul George. I'm fine with Kawhi Leonard. That's probably where it ends for me. But I'm going to be hesitant to play any of these Kings guys. I think this is a spot where, you have a team in the Kings playing no defense. They're traveling to a Clippers team that has a very good offense and a very good defense. I think they could get smoked here. I'm going to mostly be off this with the exception of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
All right, we did get a little bit of news here that came through. Miles Leonard was warming up on the court, and he had padding tape on his right hand. Yeah, and then they said one of the beat writers was looking at it. He basically said that he comfortably shot threes while not displaying any signs of pain or frustration. So I'm thinking he's going to play. So that's kind of the news on that. Titletown, Kings, Clippers, 30.5 total. Same thing I said to Hoop, I say to you. What are you doing with these guys? I think they're great tournament plays, but not a ton of guys I'm getting in my cash lineup.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. Hoop literally hit it exactly how I was going to say it. The only 2 guys in play for me are Paul George and Kawhi, really. They are better on FanDuel with their positions and stuff, but the blowout risk is definitely here, so it's concerning. There's not too many injuries that make us a lot of value stand out, so it's going to be a game I'm pretty much off of. Outside of those 2, if they fall into my lineups, I'm fine with.
All right, we got about 13 minutes or so, and we got one last game here. And let's talk about it, right? 228 total, Spurs and Warriors. And this is probably a pretty good one. We have Showdown content over here at Run Pure Sports for this game specifically. So if you're a member, be sure to check that out. Rubio's been doing the Showdown content over here. We've been kind of starting to ramp up the NBA Showdown playbook. So he'll be taking care of that today. So be on the lookout for that on our Twitter and in the Discord. And just head on over to Run Pure Sports, sign up so you can get access to that. Let's go over to you, Hoop. This is a great game I think to get some exposure to. I think it's an awesome one in tournaments. The Spurs don't play any defense. The Warriors play fast. They don't play any defense. How are you handling this game? Because it's one I think I want to get some exposure to.
No. Just before I hop into that, a few people in the chat are mentioning specific Kings guys. If you want to be on the Kings, that's fine. Individually, they have guys that can definitely produce. I think it's just a really bad spot. It's a spot that scares the shit out of me. I think the Clippers could just pound in the spot. So for me personally, I'll be off it. Yes, Bagley's great. Holmes is good. Darren Fox has massive upside. They're fine, but it's just not for me tonight. In tournaments, if you like them, be on them. Now, this game is interesting one, the Spurs and the Warriors, a good total, 228. And the one thing that stands out to me in this game, the Warriors are kind of rounding into form a little bit. Obviously, I don't think when it's all said and done, they're going to contend or anything, but they're 7-6 right now at this point in the season. They're getting healthier. Obviously, Draymond Green, kind of rounding into form a little bit. I think he's a really good play tonight. I like Draymond Green quite a bit. Switch things up a little bit with Kelly Oubre, and it's worked out. Talked about it earlier on where, Wiggins was the one kind of running that second unit. Well, now they're giving Oubre some time on the court by himself, and he's been playing well. So I'm going to consider Oubre. Really like Draymond. I like Steph. Where this game gets difficult is on the Spurs side, because we've talked about it. I think we talked about it on MLK. It's just a tough team when they're fully healthy. Aldridge still has a nice price tag on both sides. I think Aldridge is in play. He's the one guy I'd probably consider on the Spurs. But Spurs are a tough team right now when all these guys are healthy and priced efficiently. So I like Aldridge a little bit. I like Steph. I like Oubre, and I really like Draymond Green tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you on a lot of what you said. The Oubre call is great. Obviously, he's getting more of that second unit time, and he likes to shoot 3-pointers. And the Spurs, they're terrible against the three.
Yeah.
I'm sure Curry's gonna really do great in this matchup too. But I think that Draymond and Oubre are really great ways to get exposure to this game for a cheap price tag on a day we don't love a lot of value. Titletown, I'll head on over to you. Like, are you thinking the same thing with some of these Warriors? And are these Spurs interesting run back options because they play at a really fast pace, and you basically naturally get more possessions when you play against the Warriors because the pace they play at. There's more opportunity to get fantasy points, and some of these guys like Murray, DeRozan, they feel pricey, but they could be good tournament run backs.
Yeah, so I think you said it really good. The Warriors guys definitely stand out more on both sides. Oubre and Draymond are probably my favorites just because, like you guys said, they're cheap. They get a lot of minutes. They do more than just score the ball. So they feel pretty safe with a little bit of a ceiling. I like them on both sides. Wiseman on both sides stands out. I like him more on FanDuel, 4,400, but still 4,600 on DraftKings is good. I think people are going to be scared because he just dud last game at pretty good ownership. He just got in foul trouble. He's a young kid. He had a couple charges. Then he got taken out early in the third quarter, and they never went back to him because Pascal played really well, and they just rode the hot hand, and his rotation got skipped. So I think people will be off him more. Centers loaded, so he makes a lot of sense on both sides. And then Steph, I need to mention too. Obviously, I like him a little more on DraftKings, but he's in play on both sides. A slate without studs being the best. He's a comfortable stud because he plays the whole first quarter, he plays the whole third quarter. And then if the game's still close, he's getting in the fourth. So he's a safe stud as always. On the other side, on the Spurs side, I don't like it as much like you said, but it makes sense to run it back in tournaments. On DraftKings, my favorite run back would be DeJounte Murray. He's only 7,400. He has triple-double upside. He's a good player. He could exceed and excel in this matchup. So I think he makes sense on DraftKings with a good price tag. And FanDuel, my favorite run backs would be DeRozan if you want to spend up. I think 8,000 at shooting guard's fine. He's going to go overlooked a little bit. And then if you need a little value on FanDuel, Rudy Gay and Patty Mills, 4,100 and 4,000. They've had a solid role in the second unit, shoot a lot of shots, command a lot of usage, and they can definitely get there at a cheap price tag if you need value. So definitely a very good game that I have a lot of interest in, though.
Yeah,
Wiggins is questionable too. He's played almost every game, so I'm not sure how serious or how questionable he really is, but it is worth noting that. And this game has a lot of pieces. So if you want to backload your lineup or something like that, I don't mind it because it's a good game environment, good pricing.
Yeah, if you're looking for a cheap guy that could be on the rise, Pascal, they liked him more at that backup center, and he could fit this game style pretty good against the Spurs. So I wouldn't hate maybe in tournaments going to him. Hoop, I want to mention Josh Manley in the chat. He said, just joined Run Pure Sports, the best DFS team in the industry and hardest workers in the business. You love to see it, but you got to tell Josh, give him like the scoop. He's got to get in the Discord, right? And tell him, as Tony says, what do you do at 7:00? You don't get right in the Discord at 7, right? You go grab dinner, you go hang out with your lady, and you head back there later, right? Give him the whole spiel.
Yes. Welcome to the team, first off. And I agree with your statement. Best team in the industry by far. I've said it. I mean, that's the one thing we kind of pride ourselves on. We built a team of people that are actually grinding DFS every day and playing the plays and backing it up. Like a lot of people in the industry, a lot of sites in the industry, that's not necessarily the case. They have people that are focused on touting. We're not focused on touting. We're focused on playing and giving you guys our plays and insight on every site. So that was the reason we built this team, and it's the strongest one in the industry by far. A lot of these sites now, it's all projection stuff. It's all based on projections and whatnot. We have projections. We have all that stuff too. We take it a step further with our core plays, our cash sheet, the playbook. So we take it a step further beyond the projections, where a lot of these other sites are stuck right at that projection point because they don't have the people that are playing to back up any other sort of content. So it's a strong team. In terms of the Discord, I mean, the most active Discord, I mean, these people are in there, not only the coordinators and us, but members in there all day and they're smart. I mean, it's not just like random people like talking about sports. Like these people in a lot of cases know more than the coordinators, just random people, random members in the chat. So it's a good spot to be. So if you're a member, make sure you get in that Discord. The link is on the website, top left or top right. I believe it's under media. So make sure you click on that, get in there. But thanks for joining. And we, happy to have you. We know you're going to love the product.
Yep, and we've had tons of winners lately. I mean, NBA been crushing. NHL had some 15K winner yesterday, so we've had tons of people going off. AP's accountant did really well. We got like a 30K hit the other day, so excited for that. And excited for the NFL this week, and hopefully we can come up with some great plays.
By the way, not to cut you off, but did you the PGA show last night? So AP's buddy that lives by him, a member at Run Pure Sports, wins 30K in NBA. I believe it was Monday night, I want to say. So the guy wins 30K, sends AP a bottle of whiskey for the advice that he won on. So we get on the golf show last night. The guy that won and his wife are watching the show. AP is talking about thanks to Clint, brought me over a bottle of whiskey for his 30K win last night. Clint gets in the chat. He's like, yeah, no problem on the whiskey, but you just kind of blew my cover. He's like, I told my wife I only won 10K. So she's wondering now where the other 20K came from. It was hilarious. Man. So the wife's listening. He which is a smart move, by the way. Like if you do well in DFS, I've done it a few times. You don't let the wife know how well you did. You don't let her know how well you did. And Clint kind of got caught in the middle there. So it was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, hopefully your wife's not watching, and hopefully, if she was, hopefully she was on Reggie's account and is out of here now. So,
got some big news here. Tyler Hero is out.
Oh yeah, that's pretty big. We had some other news that came in too that wasn't massive. I think it's something with Garland and Sexton. One of them.
Sexton in, Garland out.
Okay, Sexton's in, Garland's out. Okay, that's decent news. And then there was one more thing I was kind of saving. But yeah, Hero out is really big news. We got Dragic news just came on in. I think that's available. It's like scrolling through my screen really fast.
Yep, he's in.
Yeah,
Jared Allen and Prince are making their Cavs debut today.
Yes, that was the other one. Those two are making their debut, which, I mean, I don't think people were playing Drummond into those other guys too much, but obviously that's going to hurt them a bit. But yeah, I mean, what does that do for you guys? What does this, and it was on his birthday too. Oh man, it was on his birthday. So what do you think of Tyler Hero here being out? Does that change anything for you?
Big boost for Dragic for sure. I think he's in the conversation on both sides.
Yeah, what about you, Title? What's that going to do for this news? Is going to change a lot for the slate?
Yeah, definitely Dragic. He probably gets the biggest boost. Bam gets a boost, more shots for him. Even though like projections will boost up Bam, but I don't know necessarily how. Like Bam's not the player, we talk about it on here, that's going to create his own shot and dribble up the court, and he's more involved with the pick and rolls and the lobs and all that. So projections will probably give him a boost if his ownership goes way up and he becomes one of those cash cores and stuff. I think he makes for a good pivot in tournaments anytime he's chalky, because there's always routes that he doesn't get there. But it's definitely Dragic, and then like Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, he's been getting more minutes lately and stuff like that. So it's those other pieces that get the biggest boost.
See, I still like Bam, but I guess it's like depends on like the other guys around him. He definitely still gets a little assist boost, which is going to be nice. But the other problem here is like you might want to play Gabe Vincent, right? But like his price isn't 3K anymore. That thing has gone up. So that's another thing to note. We were playing these Heat guys in these situations, but just notice these price tags have gone up. So maybe they don't get as big of a boost from a point per dollar perspective as you would think. We got a couple minutes here left, Hoop, and we got to give our plays of the day, right? I mean, you're giving the workbench play. I believe last time, I don't think your buddy did too well, Mr. Akpala. We'll overlook that.
Yeah.
It was your first time doing it. No big deal, but who do we got here, or do you need some time?
I'm bouncing back. I already got the guy. I know exactly who I'm going with. I tried getting cute that first one. I know I had some big shoes to fill, and it was a risky play, and I'm going to go with that not as risky play today. Guy I feel really good about. So last game of the slate, which we talked about, the workbench play of the day in honor of our boy Big T, who will be back on Friday. Big T is joining us on Friday, but workbench play of the day in honor of Big T is going to be Draymond Green. Love me some Draymond Green here tonight.
Man, so like that was it's so funny. That was like my guy. It was going to be him or Oubre, and like so I'll just take Oubre, right? I think they're both really good plays, and the one thing I like about those two Warriors that we talked about is they have an opportunity, if Wiggins is ruled out, to really move up in the projection systems, right? Like you could see Wiggins gets ruled out, and then they just kind of boost up even higher from like a value perspective, and people might not jump on them. And I think there's value in putting those guys in your lineup because they have a bigger ceiling, and I like seeing Oubre run with that second unit. So I'll go with him. I like both those guys, and there were two I was going to target. Titletown, I'll head on over to you. Who's your guy for this slate?
Yeah, my guy today is Christian Wood. I just think he has a massive game. I think his ownership comes lower owned because center's absolutely loaded. And without John Wall, I know Oladipo's there, but Christian Wood just shoots a ton. I think he has a massive game in this spot and can break the slate at low ownership.
Yep, think that's a great call there. We got to get going though, guys. So please hit the like, hit the subscribe. You want to check out the show tomorrow with JSU. He's doing the final countdown right now at 6:15. So in 15 minutes, check that out. He'll be doing that final countdown show with Holden, giving you guys all the news, answering all your questions up the lock. And then they'll be back tomorrow for free. So be sure to hit the subscribe on the channel so you can get notified tomorrow when they go live. But we're going to head on out of here. Thanks a lot for joining us here on the NBA Hardwood Show. For me, Mangone, Titletown, and Hoop, we're out of here.
Good luck, everybody.